Denver now has its date when a wave of scooters and e-bikes will be allowed into the city. Now, the people in charge don't want to talk about this yet. We're going to let you in on this a little early. You seem like you can keep a secret. It's happening next week. City Council got the inside scoop today. Scooters and e-bikes launch next week. You know they've been missing for a few weeks. You remember how the companies that were looking to make a buck off of them just kind of dumped them in the city? People got addicted. The city was peeved because they never received permits. So there was this negotiated retreat. The scooters and bikes disappeared. But you're about to be scooting next week, Denver. I want you to get a sense of the scale of the coming two-wheeled armada. There are 700 of those red beast cycles docked around Denver already. The city is prepared to allow up to 2,000 new dockless bikes and e-bikes to be added, then as many as 1,700 or so scooters. This is all a one-year trial run to see if all of them can coexist with pedestrians and cars on our sidewalks and streets. So news used to be shared through these screens. Now you share the news through whatever screen is in your hand. Just click share and you've sped it off to all the people who trust you for accurate information. Tonight, our next team has 3 stories to make us more aware of what we share. Beginning with a prominent political leader in Colorado who's been sharing easily debunked anti-Muslim propaganda, all because he couldn't be bothered to use the Google first. Former Congressman Tom Tancredo, recently a leading Republican candidate for governor here, posted this misleading image of a Muslim protest captioned, "This is Dearbornistan, Michigan." It's not Dearborn, Michigan. The photos are from a protest in Kabul, Afghanistan in 2009. It is easy to find online. Yet Tancredo is unapologetic. He told me today, "Have you ever been to Dearborn?" Seemed perfectly plausible. Tancredo then pivoted to saying that the post was meant to be sarcastic. And he said to me, he actually said, "What difference does it make where it was really taken?" Former Congressman Tancredo's post was shared hundreds of times by people who took it quite seriously, warning of creeping Sharia law, saying this was Obama's dream for America, all based off that false claim that Tancredo admits he does not care is false. Our longtime politics guy, who's now working for our sister station in Sacramento, Brandon Rittiman, he has a new project these days debunking some of this online garbage. He's trying to keep us from sharing things that will make us look foolish to our friends. So first up, a popular claim posted by people who don't like President Trump. Today, Brandon's taking on this post that looks like a quote from the U.S. Constitution. It's not. It claims other officials would automatically lose their jobs if the president is impeached. What do you think, Brandon?
Nope. That is not how any of this works, and all you need to prove it is to look at the actual U.S. Constitution. You can Google it, or I've got a copy right here. This part reads, "The President, Vice President, and all civil officers of the United States shall be removed from office on impeachment for and conviction of treason, bribery, or other high crimes and misdemeanors." You will notice nothing in there connects one job to the other, which means if you want to impeach these people, all of them, you gotta do them one at a time. There's a reason tens of thousands of people are sharing the false version of this online. They're seeing it and going, "Hey, wow, I didn't know that." In this case, you didn't know that because it's not true. If you see something you're not sure you should share it with us. We'll have a look.
All right, now what if the fake claim being shared on Facebook is your face? There's a way that you can now search to see who's paying for political ads that are forced on you on Facebook. Our Marshall Zellinger met a woman from Arvada who spotted an ad that featured her.
No, I didn't write this. I can't even read it.
As you'll learn, Katie Winter is outspoken.
Check your facts. Check your sources.
But she just can't bring herself to repeat the content she found on Facebook.
What it said was that I was endorsing this candidate's candidacy for Arvada City Council.
She's referring to this political ad from Arvada City Council candidate Joshua Rodriguez that shares a post from Winter showing her glowing support for him.
I never wrote those words about any candidate. I think the community would tell you that it was pretty well known on Nextdoor.com and Facebook that I did not support his candidacy, and I never would.
She came across this post using Facebook's new attempt at transparency. This website allows you to search political ads by page name, candidate name, or topic. The search shows you who paid for the ads, how much they paid, and a breakdown of who saw them. Which brings us back to this ad that makes it appear that Winner supports a candidate she doesn't.
I do not endorse this candidate.
Winner says she did not create the original post, but it looks like it came from her. I spoke with Joshua Rodriguez on the phone last week, and he told me he was catfished over Facebook Messenger, that someone pretending to be Katie Winner asked for money in return for a post endorsing him on Facebook. When I asked for screenshots of that conversation, he told me he wanted to consult an attorney and then stopped responding to my calls and texts.
He posted this explanation on Facebook and Nextdoor, and then took both of them down.
She showed us screenshots of what appears to be the same story Rodriguez told me over the phone. We were unable to find those posts or any Joshua for Arvada content because he deleted his page from Facebook. Just because you delete your page doesn't mean we can't search the ads that once existed. That's part of Facebook's new search function. You can actually search 7 years worth of political ads going back from May, backwards 7 years, even if the page has been removed or if they're a new candidate. You can do that for all of the cancel candidates, for all of the cities and counties. You can do it for Walker Stapleton and Jared Polis, Kyle.
Right now, that guy's Googling, how do I get Marshall Zellinger to stop asking me questions? Cannot delete that investigator. All right, thank you, sir. The hundreds of thousands of Coloradans who are struggling these days with addiction and mental illness, they need, among other things, some hope. Hope's name is Nick Antonio. One of the darkest moments in our state's history sent Nick spiraling. He has climbed back out to the point that he is ready to talk, ready to help somebody who might be on the way down. Nick had a conversation with our photojournalist, Tom Cole.
I got this right when I got out of jail, so about a year ago.
What was the idea behind that, Nick?
You know, sometimes you just want to hide and cover yourself up and not be yourself.
At 34, Nick Antonio is no longer hiding. For the first time, he is talking publicly about his dark journey.
And then April 20th came around.
Nick was a freshman at Columbine High School when his world unraveled. As time passed, things just got worse.
I went to something like 17 funerals in just a 6-7 months.
Nick lost friends, and he lost his trust.
Back then, I didn't want to live. I didn't understand why these people could be taken, but not me.
Guilt and depression led to drugs.
Cocaine, meth, and then to heroin.
And the drugs led to time behind bars.
Just got done doing 9 months in Arapahoe County Jail.
It was his time in jail when he began to wake up.
Have a seat.
He got help. Part of that help was a mental health evaluation.
My drug use was due to mental health. You know, I was diagnosed with bipolar, PTSD, severe anxiety disorder.
He's now on a long journey of recovery as a patient at CU Sheridan Health Services, where he gets checkups and meets with a counselor. Family relations have strengthened. He recently attended his sister's wedding.
She handed me a letter pretty much telling me that, you know, she never thought that I would be at her wedding. She thought I'd never be there. She thought I would be in prison or you know, not even alive.
Nick Antonio is alive, and he's not afraid to share his story with you.
I'm not a bad person. I made some bad decisions. I made some bad choices due to the way I decided to deal with trauma. And there is help out there. There is a different way to deal with it than to have to use.
Nick has been sober for about a year. He likes to tell people he is not simply a survivor of Columbine. He's a survivor of life. Manitou Springs is one tough town. Rains again tried to wipe it off the map last night. Manitou was better prepared, though, than during past floods. The police chief said today it is in part due to some new drills that they have been doing and also millions of dollars spent on flood control. So last night's torrential rain in the foothills above Colorado Springs caused a muddy mess, but it did not cause any injuries. There is rain falling there tonight, so the warning has gone out for people to be prepared and move fast if evacuation sirens sound. My favorite reminder of Manitou's trademark toughness is the fact that the flood's frequent target, the Penny Arcade, was again packed today, while right outside the door, people were shoveling away the hail and the mud from the storm. But seriously, folks, what is going on at Boyd Lake these days? That's not how you Colorado. Someone has been dumping octopuses in Boyd Lake in Loveland. 3 of them found there recently. Yes, plural of octopus is octopuses, it's not octopi. Anyway, octopuses, I messed it up now. Octopuses cannot survive in fresh water. So Parks and Rec says what's happening here is either somebody decided they did not want their pet octopuses anymore and just cruelly dumped them in the lake to die, or somebody threw dead octopuses in Boyd Lake for some reason. Either way, people, that's not how you Colorado.
Our next question comes from the actor Rainn Wilson on Twitter. Hey, he's famous. And he tweeted, I have many questions about Denver. No one ever really talks about it. Does it suck? Does it even exist? Why do people there wear so much khaki?
Coming from the genius that brought us Dwight Schrute on The Office, that hurts. Dwight Schrute wore a lot of High Plains camo, or khaki as he calls it. And Schrute was probably a fan of the brush beat diggers. But to answer your question directly, Mr. Wilson, if the person asking if Denver sucks is the kind of person who's going to move here and then talk down to their neighbors, is going to hike off the trail and complain why things aren't like back home, well then yeah, Denver sucks. There is no need to come here. If the person asking is friendly and creative and loves to be outdoors and knows that we here are more comfortable in jeans than khakis, well then yeah, tell that person that Denver is cool and they're welcome anytime.
One cure for the blues is green space. True fact, they studied it, and part of Denver helps prove it. Our city's fancy new trash collection system keeps collecting the trash cans. Don't think that's supposed to happen. And after the power washing our city got last night, we could be in for another round tonight. That's next.
City parks, wide open green spaces, they make people happier, like actually happier. They seriously studied this in Philly with 500 some vacant spaces. They turned some of them into parks and voila, people nearby got happier. Park proponents in Denver met up with our Katie Eastman and were all like, well, yeah, we told you so.
Curtis Park is where Ender Roybal learned to climb, and it's where he's probably eaten all sorts of inedible things.
He loves causing mischief. He loves throwing temper tantrums. But yeah, both. So I have him and then I have a 5-year-old, and they both just love to come play.
Not long ago, Curtis Park was the place that people avoided. A neighbor told Emily Patterson with Parks for People that it felt sketchy.
She would actually put her kids in a car and drive them to what the quote-unquote good parks. And she really felt that it wasn't fair that this community didn't have a park that they felt safe in.
So they cleaned it up and updated the playground. Parks for People wants a quality park within a 10-minute walk of everyone. The red areas on this map are the gaps. Most of them are lower-income neighborhoods. The results of the public health study in Philadelphia showed nearby parks help people's mental health.
It really validates a lot of our thinking at the Trust for Public Land. We really feel strongly that parks make people's lives better.
When researchers surveyed people nearby, almost half of them said they reported feeling less depressed, and more than half said mental health improved.
It makes a lot of sense, actually.
Ender's mom didn't need a study to tell her parks make her feel good. But maybe these numbers will convince the people who make decisions to transform vacant lots into parks. For Next, I'm Katie Eastman.
So Next heard the rumblings when Denver rolled out its new standardized trash cans and mechanized collection, and we heard rumblings that the rumbling sound was people's trash cans being tossed in the truck. Well, kind of like your can gets abducted by aliens. See, there it goes up and in, and the arms come down. Hey, where's the trash can? Well, there's picture proof of what we heard was going on. The claw arm grabs the can, hoists it up, and just tosses the whole stupid thing in the trash. On this morning, though, the helpful Denver sanitation worker went up the ladder and dug out the can. Denver Public Works says, yeah, they have these issues with the claw arms from time to time. They'll try to tighten up the grip so residents don't lose their grip on their trash cans.
With all the moisture around today, you knew it was coming after a quiet afternoon. Now severe weather rolling into the metro area. A severe thunderstorm warning out for Denver with a cell coming out of Ken Carroll and Tinytown that has the potential to produce some moderate rainfall along with 1-inch diameter hail. The cell is tracking east-southeast, Highlands Ranch, Parker and Greenwood Village, probably right in the zone for about the next 15 minutes to see this storm. We also have flash flood watch areas posted down south, along with concerns for flash flooding around Colorado Springs and Manitou Springs. The flash flood watch areas extend out across southwestern Colorado, where we have had issues with flooding in and around Durango this afternoon. All of this moisture feeding in from the southwest, and we'll see a round of slow-moving storms develop again Wednesday and Thursday, along with temperatures that should be a little bit cooler heading into the upcoming weekend. Tomorrow afternoon, the slow-moving storms again with that heavy rain threat over some of the burn scar areas and areas that have seen 1 to 4 inches of rain. Mudslides and street flooding certainly a potential, something we'll be talking about for much of the upcoming week. As we get you into the evening, we're looking for some heavy rain, potentially hail in the next hour. A low 64 with clearing late and patchy fog. Partly cloudy, 87 tomorrow. Scattered storms likely Wednesday, Thursday, a little drier Friday, and a little bit cooler over the weekend. But right now, the city bracing for what could be some heavy rain.
The most Colorado thing we saw today must have been a bear to get up the mountain. And debating another one of our state's tricky place names, it comes down to the question, do you want to be right or do you want to be understood? That's next.
The most Colorado thing we saw today. It's just a cookout, a top mountain beer stat. Beth Konopka saw somebody at the summit of the 14er making breakfast and brewing coffee, not just for their group, but for everybody who happened to be hiking up there that morning. Well done, especially to whoever was strong enough to carry the grill up the mountain. Let's all set off now in search of another proper pronunciation of a place name in our state that people tend to say all kinds of different ways. We call this What Do You Say? And next viewers Inger, Randy, Jeff, and Debbie, they all pointed to a mountain near Boulder. So we called up Boulder's Open Space and Mountain Parks Division and asked their education director, what do you say?
The mountain is right in back of what was a great big Seventh-day Adventist sanatorium back in the teens and 20s here. And so the mountain was literally named Mount Health, Mount Sanitas, Sanitas being Latin for health. So that's where the Sanitas comes from. That's the traditional historical name for the mountain because it was right by the old sanatorium. But the public has come to say Sanitas over all of the intervening years. The question comes down to, do you want to be historically correct or do you want to be understood?
Oh, and now we get to the crux of the issue with so many place name pronunciation debates around our state. So there you go. You can be historically accurate and call it Mount Sanitas, or go with the more popular pronunciation these days, Mount Sanitas. Send us in search of some other interesting place with a funny name. Email next at 9news.com or get our attention with the hashtag HeyNext. Hashtags, email, that's how you send us most of the signs that catch your eye. Somebody still uses snail mail. Oh, that's cool. And it's next. It's a sign that next viewers Jane and Pat Keisel sent to us old school style. They took an actual photo, printed it out, mailed it to us. Men $7.99, it says. Jane thought this might have been some kind of commentary about the Me Too movement and society deciding that men have been overrated and overpriced for too long. I don't know, maybe it's just a sign for the barbershop in Lafayette where they saw it. I just love that it came snail mail. Isn't that cool? Now your electronic mail for the day. Gary says, Tom Tancredo ran as an independent for governor, not a Republican. Kyle, keep your facts straight. Sorry to do this to you, Gary, but Mr. Tancredo's first run for governor was as an independent. His run this year, he was in the Republican primary before he dropped out due to fundraising issues. Piper writes in and says, you save me every time you do a story about mental health. I appreciate everything you do in doing these stories. It's the folks who share these stories that are doing that crucial work. Thank you, Piper. See you next time.